Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and more WWE 2K17 news, as today is the final day of the WWE 2K17 roster reveal as we find out the final names to make it on this year's on-disc roster. So let's not delay any longer, let's jump straight in with the final batch of reveals as we'll have Asuka, Bayley, Big Boss Man, Buddy Murphy, Cactus Jack, Dean Ambrose, Diesel, Dude Love, Dusty Rhodes, Goldust, Jack Swagger, John Cena, Kane, Kevin Owens, Lex Luger, Luke Harper, Mankind, Road Dogg Jesse James, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Vader, and Wesley Blake. So that's 24 more names revealed in this final week, taking the total number of stars in this year's game up to 129 as we're set for the biggest roster ever in a WWE game, and that's with this year's DLC still to come. So this year we'll have some awesome additions and a ton of superstars making their debut, as this week alone we'll have the reveals of both Asuka and Bayley, who make it into the game for the first time this year, meaning this year we'll actually have all 4 horsewomen after they all missed out last year. Then we've also got a lot of legends who return, such as all 3 Faces of Foley, Diesel, Big Boss Man, Lex Luger, Vader, and the Road Dogg, who was surprisingly missing the last 2 years despite his tag team partner Badass Billy Gunn actually making it into the game. So it's great to see the Outlaws reunited this year. Then of course we've also got other mainstay legends that we all knew would be in the game, with The Undertaker and Stone Cold, alongside the new era mainstays of Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. So let's move on and take a look at this week's Suplex City census image so we can see where all the clues are as we enter the Suplex City Junkyard. First up, we'll have the NXT Women's Champion Asuka with one of her masks hidden in the smoke. We'll have one of Bayley's inflatable dancing men from her entrance, the Big Boss Man's nightstick, a wanted poster for Buddy Murphy and Wesley Blake, a cactus for Cactus Jack, Dirty Dean's used cars for Dean Ambrose, diesel gasoline for Kevin Nash's alter ego Diesel, a peace and love symbol representing Dude Love, 2 Dusty Road signs for Dusty Rhodes, shattered windows that spell out dreams alluding to Goldust in his finisher Shattered Dreams, a Patriot lock featuring the USA flag for Jack Swagger, John Cena's dog tags, a big red machine spitting out fire for Kane, a KO logo for the new Universal Champion Kevin Owens, the Lex Express coach for Lex Luger, these freaky eyes from Luke Harper's Titantron for the man himself, Mr. Socko representing Mankind, a street sign that says Dog Road for the Road Dogg Jesse James, Roman Reigns' vest hung up on the gate, a Seth Rollins logo for the man Seth Rollins, a can of whoop ass for Stone Cold Steve Austin, a dead man hearse for The Undertaker, and finally Vader's mask imprinted on a clock, hinting at Vader time for Vader. So that's all of the clues to this week's reveals if you want to unlock them on the 2K website, but let's move on to this week's screenshots, where we start things off with the man, the architect, Seth Rollins, as we see him here with his return attire from Extreme Rules earlier this year, which 2K have done an awesome job at getting into the game, as generally WrestleMania is the cut-off period for updates, but it's great to see that they've actually pushed that back a little to get Seth's updated attire and hairstyle, as if we still can't edit the hair on Superstars this year, then that would have meant we'd been stuck with a blonde streak even after updating the attire. Also, one thing I want to quickly mention here is that a few people have been asking if Seth had a new entrance. He doesn't, from what I can remember. It did seem to be pretty much the same as in 2K16, but to be fair, it can't be criticised too much as he had been out of action for the majority of the development time. As we move on to the next screenshot, we get another look at Seth's model, this time without his entrance attire, in which you can really see the difference that lighting changes have made this year, as we see the shadowing on both his body and abs. Up next we have the return Road Dogg Jesse James alongside the badass Billy Gunn as the New Age Outlaws reunite in 2K17 after Billy found himself flying solo for the last 2 years, so it's great to see the pair back together again as we can play through some dream matches like the Outlaws against Enzo and Cass, which is a match I would love to see just for the pre-match mic shenanigans, which, speaking of mics, as you can see, Road Dogg has his at the ready, meaning we should get a proper New Age Outlaws intro included during their entrance. Next up, we head backstage as we see the new WWE Universal Champion Kevin Owens as he stares down Cesaro after delivering a beating, and if you look behind him you can actually see the backstage interview area that features Renee Young interviewing superstars during backstage brawls, of which the 2 standing elements can be knocked down when throwing an opponent into them. Also, on the right you'll notice an exit door which wasn't accessible in the demo, but if the entire corridor, office and locker room count as one area, then this may be accessible in the full game to enter the parking lot. Heading down NXT, and this next screenshot gives us our first look at both Asuka and Bayley, as Bayley delivers the Bayley belly suplex on Asuka, who oddly isn't wearing any boots, but I'm pretty sure that was because she didn't wear them when she first debuted, which may actually explain it. As for Bayley, you can see the passion in her face as she gives Asuka a nice little hug before we move on to the final screenshot this week, as we'll once again see the NXT Women's Champion Asuka, this time in full view, in which I think she looks absolutely stunning. 2K have done an amazing job capturing her, and for me, she's easily one of the most lifelike models included this year. So that's it for this week's screenshots, but let's stay with Asuka as we move on to this week's entrance video, as Asuka makes her way to the ring complete with her full entrance attire and mask that she originally debuted with, so check it out.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from Osaka, Japan, the NXT Women's Champion, Asuka.
Here comes Asuka, ready for action.
I don't think the Divas division has ever been this intense, and this Diva is a lot of the reason why.
Yeah, she's changed the entire division.
So there you go, that is Asuka's entrance in WWE 2K17. I think it looks awesome, despite a few little things being out of date, but what's to say 2K don't actually update them before the final release. Finally, let's take a look at the final roster for WWE 2K17, as we have a total of 129 superstars this year, which pretty much includes all of the current main roster stars, along with a lot of the NXT talent, and by far the largest women's roster that we've ever seen in a WWE game, with more than 20 women in this year's game, featuring the debuts of the 4 Horsewomen, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella, as well as Nia Jax, who isn't actually listed here, as she's not part of the main roster, but she is included with the NXT Collector's Edition. On top of that, we also have a whole host of legends this year that return from past games with the likes of the New Age Outlaws, all 3 Faces of Foley, Razor Ramon, Sting. There's a ton in there, and it's a really good mix this year, with the majority of legends from last year's DLC also being included, albeit a few exceptions, the likes of Stevie Ray, Dustin Rhodes and Roddy Piper, who have actually been removed from the game. Actually, talking of people removed from the game, here is a full list of those removed, courtesy of It's My Yard, so I'll leave a link to his channel in the video description, as he's got a good video up actually breaking down this year's roster and looking at potential DLC. So those removed from 2K17 that were in 2K16 include Adam Rose, Bad News Barrett, Batista, Booker T from WCW, Cameron, Retro Chris Jericho, Colonel Mustafa, D'Lo Brown, Damian Sandow, Dustin Rhodes, Farouk, Fit Finley, General Adnan, Haku, Honky Tonk Man, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Jake the Snake Roberts from 91, Kane 01, Kama Mustafa, Ken Shamrock, Kevin Nash and Kevin Nash 96, Layla, Retro Mark Henry, Mikey Whipwreck, Paul White, Santino Marella, Savio Vega, Scott Hall, Sergeant Slaughter, Steve Austin 03 and 07, Steven Regal, both classic versions of Sting with the classic and Crow versions, Superstar Steve Austin, Stevie Ray, Terminator 1 and 2, Triple H 01, Ricky Steamboat 91, Ric Flair 91, Randy Savage 91, and then Rikishi and The Rock from 2000 along with The Rock 03, Roddy Piper, Ryback, The American Badass Undertaker and Ministry Undertaker, William Regal, and finally X-Pac. So as you can see, there is a ton of removals from 2K16, however a lot of those names are still in the game in some form, either as an alter ego like Diesel and Razor are, or as a single character instead of the duplicates that were seen last year. Anyway guys, that is all for today's video, but let me know your thoughts on all of today's news, including this week's reveals, screenshots and Asuka's entrance, as well as what you think of the roster overall. Personally, I'm really happy with it. I think it's got everyone that I could have hoped for, and there's still the possibility that we could get the likes of Anderson and Gallows, along with Bobby Roode as DLC. So let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more WWE 2K17 news, as despite this being the final week of the roster reveal, there's still plenty more news to come with this year's DLC, My Career Universe mode, and hopefully some exclusive gameplay that I'll be recording next week. So until then, I hope you all have an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.